The rise of the Ottoman Empire in Europe is inseparable from the leadership of Murad III, one of its most transformative sultans. Under his reign in the late 14th century, the Ottomans transitioned from a foothold in the Balkans to a regional hegemon, establishing political, military, and administrative systems that would secure long-term dominance across the region. Murad's strategic vision, coupled with innovations in governance and warfare, set the empire on a path from frontier power to continental authority. When Murad I assumed the throne in 1362, the Ottoman presence in Europe was still limited. The capture of Dapatis al Gallipoli decades earlier had provided a foothold, but the Balkans remained fragmented, with competing Christian principalities, weakened Byzantine territories, and unpredictable alliances. Murad recognized that controlling these lands required more than raiding expeditions. It demanded structured administration, disciplined military organization, and a combination of coercion and diplomacy. Central to Murad's strategy was the expansion and institutionalization of the Special Janissary Corps, one of history's most innovative military formations. The Janissaries were drawn from Christian communities through the ForeFun system, whereby young boys were taken from their families, converted to Islam, and trained as elite soldiers and administrators. This system ensured a loyal, professional, and highly disciplined military force that was directly tied to the Sultan rather than to local tribal leaders or nobility. The Janissaries became both the backbone of Ottoman military power and a critical instrument for controlling newly conquered Balkan territories. Murad's use of the devshirme system was not only military in nature, it created a class of administrators who were culturally and politically loyal to the Ottoman state, capable of governing diverse populations in the Balkans. This strategy allowed the empire to integrate conquered lands smoothly, enforce tax collection, and maintain political stability without relying solely on force. In essence, Murad combined military innovation with state building, creating systems that reinforced each other. The Sultan's campaigns in the Balkans were carefully calculated and strategically executed. He pursued both direct conquest and the creation of vassal states, demanding tribute from local rulers in exchange for protection. This dual approach allowed the Ottomans to extend influence without overextending resources. Vassalage offered a sense of autonomy to local lords while binding them to the Ottoman system, creating a network of loyalty that strengthened regional control. Christian rulers who resisted often faced decisive military action, while cooperative leaders were incorporated into the imperial framework. Murad also understood the importance of timing and momentum. The Balkan states were often distracted by internal disputes, rivalries, and succession crises. He exploited these divisions with speed and precision, applying pressure where opponents were weakest. Key victories, such as at Maritsa in 1371, demonstrated Ottoman strength and instilled both fear and respect in regional powers. These campaigns not only secured territory, but also reinforced the perception of Ottoman inevitability, shaping the psychological landscape of the Balkans. Administration under Murad extended beyond military and political structures. He established a system of taxation, law, and governance capable of managing diverse populations. Religious tolerance and pragmatic policies toward non-Muslims ensured that resistance was minimized and local economic and social systems were preserved. These measures stabilized the empire's European holdings and provided a foundation for further expansion. The combination of military strength, administrative efficiency, and strategic diplomacy under Murad created a lasting model for Ottoman rule in Europe. By securing permanent territories and subjugating vassal states, he created a buffer zone that allowed subsequent sultans to consolidate control and push further into the Balkans. The empire was no longer merely a transient presence. It had established enduring political, economic, and military structures. Murad's leadership also set important precedents for succession and governance. The integration of the Janissary Corps and the devshirme system created a cadre of loyal officials and military leaders, ensuring continuity even as the empire expanded. Unlike earlier periods, where personal loyalty to a tribal leader determined authority, Murad's reforms linked power to the office of the Sultan and the state apparatus. This shift reduced the likelihood of fragmentation after leadership transitions. Economically, Balkan expansion under Murad strengthened the Ottoman state. Control of key trade routes, fertile lands, and resource-rich regions increased revenue and supported the growing administrative and military infrastructure. This economic base allowed the empire to fund further campaigns, maintain the Janissaries, and invest in urban development, reinforcing Ottoman influence across southeastern Europe. Culturally, the Balkans became a space where Ottoman governance, Islam, and local traditions intersected. Murad's policies encouraged a form of integration that would define Ottoman Europe for centuries. While military conquest established control, administrative systems and social policies ensured sustainability. Education, religious institutions, and local governance were used to legitimize Ottoman authority and bind populations to the state. The long-term impact of Murad's rule was profound. By the time of his death in 1389, at the Battle of Kosovo, the Ottomans had established themselves as the dominant power in the Central Balkans. The systems he implemented, the Janissaries, devshirme, vassal networks, and administrative institutions, became cornerstones of Ottoman governance for generations. His leadership turned what had been a tentative European foothold into a secure regional hegemony. Murad I exemplifies the synthesis of military innovation, strategic vision, and statecraft. He demonstrated that empire building requires more than conquest. It demands structures, institutions, and methods for sustaining control over diverse populations. His ability to combine force with diplomacy, coercion with administration, and military organization with ideological legitimacy ensured that the Balkans became an enduring pillar of Ottoman power. In conclusion, Murad III's reign marked a decisive shift in Ottoman history. Through the expansion of the Janissaries, the creation of vassal networks, strategic military campaigns, and effective administration,